Hello, my name is Garrett Bailey, and I'm here with my company to do a brief introduction on intercultural communication. To start, we are going to talk about what is intercultural communication. The word inter comes from the Latin word meaning between, and communication is defined in the Webster Dictionary as the exchanging of information. So you put the two together, and this means exchanging information to people in different cultures. While it seems to be a pretty easy concept, it is actually very difficult due to the number of different cultural backgrounds of people in the workforce, as well as the language barriers in the workforce. Um, Intercultural communication is a necessity in the business world, not only for the success of the organization, but the success for the individual um, and the company. So, the importance of intercultural communication. Every big company has diversity, as I said earlier, and this thing known as cultural competency, where everyone in the company knows the company's mission, vision, and values, and it's ingrained in them to the point where that every move they make is reflective of that. And I think this correlates 100% with this concept of intercultural communication. This idea also allows for more ideas to come about when you have more people who have different backgrounds, different problem-solving solutions. This allows for problems to get solved quicker due to the number of people working on it. It also allows for you to become a more culturally sound person, as well as just a more well-rounded person in general. I think understanding the different people, understanding different people's customs, standards, and patterns builds new relationships. Um, I worked at Harris Teeter for 4 years in high school and throughout college, and uh, two of the guys I worked with in the meat department. One was from Iraq and one was from Spain. They both moved over in the early 2000s and ended up being the best men at each other's weddings. So it's just getting to know your staff and the people you're working with. So some key areas to improve communication. I think refraining from politically biased statements in the workplace. Um, Politics isn't the place. Uh, there are some people who are very passionate about their beliefs, and I just think it can cause a decrease in work productivity, um, and unnecessary scuffles in the workplace. Um, I believe researching various races and religions just to understand the basic mannerisms. You don't have to research every single religion, every single race. But the ones you work with often, just know their what they believe in. Some cultures don't believe in handshakes, and uh, that's important to understand, especially when you're traveling overseas. What they do and respect what they do, and that goes along with the next statement. And the willingness to accept differing viewpoints and have clear, consistent communication with coworkers. That kind of contradicts with the first statement, but there's going to be conflict in the workplace, and just knowing how to resolve it in a mannerly fashion um, helps for and to blow over and the work to continue. And finally, understanding the effect of ineffective communication can have on a business. I'm a healthcare management major. I've seen tons of cases where a doctor ignores a checklist at the end of the patient surgery and will accidentally leave a sponge in post-stitching, post-operation, and that's due to poor communication and systems put in place. And finally, ways to implement, and this is just in the business in general, you got to teach your workers to become adaptable to behavior. Um, Work can be stressful. It's a high stress environment. You got to be able to know how to handle yourself, handle other people, and not get in over yourself. You got to get employee feedback on ways to improve, and that's from a managerial standpoint and from the upper management standpoint. Uh, the best knowledge is your workers. They know what's working. They know what's not. And you can't be afraid to ask or apologize when you ask something. Don't be afraid. Be confident in asking, because you never know what that can bring about in a situation. And then self-reflect on experiences learned. If there is conflict, uh, don't just let it blow over and think nothing of it. Look at it and really think about it and think of ways to improve next time. And then talk to people who know culture. Businesses should bring in people who know culture uh, to just let their employees be aware of it. And finally, just to end off the presentation, Nelson Mandela had this awesome quote: "If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to a man in his language, that goes to his heart." Once again, that's Nelson Mandela. I just thought that was pretty awesome because um, you can say something to someone and it not mean anything, but if you say it with passion, or if you say it in a way that they understand, it just means that much more and shows how much effort you put in on your end. Thank you, and I hope you learned something today. My name is Garrett Bailey,